Everyone, this video is to talk about your podcast assignment for this semester. So for this podcast assignment, it's really not that difficult. So the biggest thing you're going to have to do is you're going to find a podcast that's related to exercise science, nutrition, anything kind of in that area of physical activity and moving and being healthier. Really trying to look at that exercise science, nutrition, strength conditioning kind of category. And so you're going to listen to an episode of that podcast, and then you're going to answer the questions below in a discussion post. Those due dates are on the syllabus, so you'll have one due date that is for the post, and then you'll also have to respond to people's posts. So you'll have to respond to two separate people's posts the week after it's due. So if this Sunday the podcast actual podcast post is due this Sunday, the following week you would then go and respond to two separate people's posts that they have posted. Please do wait on those responses until after the due date for the original post. That way everyone has an equal opportunity to have responses given to their post. So you're going to look through those. You got to find something that interests you. I have a document that I will show you here in a second that you have access to that gives you approved podcast already. So ones that I've looked at, heard in the past, students have asked me about in the past on this list. And you can find those as long as their particular podcast is about exercise science or something along those lines. If it's some random one in those podcasts, please avoid those. And if you have your own that maybe you like, maybe you listen to, or one that interests you, please email me and I can approve those in addition to those. But typically most students just stick with the approved list already. It's nice and easy. And so you're going to listen to those and then answer these particular questions in your discussion post that you put by the due date. And then the following week you'll respond to two other people's, looking at what they said and kind of going back and forth. So you're just going to tell me which podcast you did, and then how did you find it? If it was just simply through D2L, that's fine. And then why you listened to it. Why did you choose that particular podcast, that particular episode? Then you're going to let me know, like, what was the podcast about, who was talking, and then give me a really good summary of what that podcast was, what they talked about, what they said, kind of some of the takeaway points maybe that they had with that. Let me know that you truly watched that podcast or listened to that podcast. And then 4, what were the positive and negative feelings you got while listening to that? Some of these podcasts you may agree with, and that's awesome. Some of the podcasts you listen to, you may not agree with what they're saying, or you don't necessarily like it. And so tell me how you felt about those things, and just kind of give me your opinion on that particular piece. So it shouldn't take too long, but make sure you do. It is a college assignment, so make sure that you're including punctuation, spelling, you're looking at these things, making sure that it flows well, just all those things that come with a traditional college paper. It's not a paper, it's an easier discussion post, but make sure that you go about those. So here is the list of podcasts, the appropriate podcast or the approved podcast already. Again, if you find something outside of this, let me know. But as you can see, there are all different kinds of things here, from coaching, nutrition. Strongcast is looking at things, science radio. You've got Australian, which I really love, the Australian Strength and Conditioning Association. They're pretty good. But there's a lot on here. Cook, Eat, Run. So you got all different kinds of things from universities and out there. So there's a pretty good list here. So go find one, get that listened to, and then you can work on that post, put it in a Word document, get it how you like it, and then you'll simply come here and you will attach that as your discussion post for your podcast. You can access the rubric here to see kind of how that'll be graded, and then the following week after it's due, you'll go and respond to two people's. Again, make sure those responses are in depth, kind of engaging, not just great job. Really try to engage in this. It'll make the material more fun. If you have any questions, please let me know, and have fun with this particular discussion post.